All right, I guess you know what day it is by the thumbnail, but it is Pixel 6 day. So let's go and let's put this guy to the test. Let's see if it's gonna last all day. It's 12:09 right now. We've got 91%, so let's hit it. All right, let's start my day with the Pixel 6. And just so you guys know, this footage is gonna come from a few different cameras, my Fuji, the Pixel, and a GoPro, so I'll make sure to mark them. So the day started off at the Gumball Rally 3000, which is some sort of like rich person supercar race. Starts in Toronto. I don't really know, but I did get distracted by all the cool cars on my way there. Check out these pictures and listen to these sweet engine sounds. Anyway, that was pretty crazy, but I hopped on the subway, got down to St. Andrew's Station to meet Joey for lunch at General Assembly Pizza, and so far the phone is holding up great. Bluetooth audio on the subway was fine, and the pictures I took are looking pretty good so far. I also want to mention here that every single photo you see in this video is shot on the Pixel 6. Took a few pictures there, then Joey said he wanted to get a new seat for his bike, so we got back on the road, did a little Google mapping, and found a place to go to. This is one of the first times that I've used this new silicone bike holder, and using it without a case was maybe a little risky, but to be honest, it held up really well. So we headed to the Dream Cyclery downtown Toronto by the harbor. Joey bought a new seat, and I just took lots of videos. Plus, look at this crazy wireless charger for a bike. Insane. I guess this is the moment where I should say I've been using the Pixel 3 for about 3 weeks now, maybe a little more, and I've taken tons of pictures with it, but I haven't been testing video as heavily until now, and in the purpose of this video making, I'm actually very impressed. I mean, look at this shot of Joey on his bike. He's just gliding, and the footage looks awesome. Anyway, after I started to continue to realize that, I took a lot more videos with the Pixel 6, so you're going to start to see those coming up. Anyway, we got to Cherry Beach, which is a pretty cool beach downtown Toronto-ish. A little bit outside of downtown, but totally within biking distance and way more beach-like than you'd expect from Toronto, I guess, unless you're on the island. Once we got out here, one of the things that I definitely liked about this Pixel video is how HDR it is. That's really, really great, and as much as I don't like HDR when I'm shooting photos because I want to have so much more like moody control, when I'm shooting video, especially for work, that high dynamic range is really, really useful and I like it a lot. Now we're back to the GoPro and we're heading downtown. I'm using a lot of these GoPro angles on my bike lately. I got a magic arm clamp and I've been really having a lot of fun with it, but this is probably one of my favorites so far. What up, we're back now. It's like 4:30. The phone is at 54%, which is, I guess, okay, although there's still a lot of day left. Did a lot of video taking, took a lot of photos as well, and I think those photos and videos are being uploaded to the cloud, even though I'm on cellular, because I just got a notification that I'm through 90% of my data, and I literally have like a month left, so I'm screwed, but I'm having a good day. After that, I biked home. It was such a nice day. I couldn't stop taking videos of Toronto, even if the battery was getting low. But when I did get home, I did stop taking videos because I fell asleep. All right, it's 9:02. The phone is at like 24%. Basically, I just came home, had a bit of a nap, took a few more photos and videos, and now we're going out to get dinner, and then we're gonna go see Top Gun again. I don't know why I said Top Gun like that. I also don't know why I decided to use a front-facing camera on the Pixel, because that camera might be the weakest of the three on there, and especially in low light, I mean, you just saw how grainy that was. Anyway, beyond that, Alex and I hit the road. We finally got some dinner at Korean Grill downtown. We finished up eating, took a few more pictures and videos with the Pixel, got a snack across the street to sneak into the theater. Sorry, Cineplex. And we finally got back in the car to go to the theater. Usually we would just walk to Yonge and Dundas or a theater closer to our house, but Alex really wanted to try the D-Box moving seats for Top Gun, so the only ones that were available were at the Queensway Theater in between Toronto and Etobicoke. Hence, we had to drive. It's 1 a.m. when we just left the movies. It was pretty great. I mean, this is the second time we've seen the new Top Gun. Might see it again. I have 14% left on my phone, and it got charged in the 20 minutes we were driving here, but I wouldn't really give that an edge, and also it is 1 a.m., so I guess it's lasted more than enough time, but I don't know. We're gonna go over the pros and cons of it all tomorrow. We literally just walked up to the wrong car.
I am so embarrassed.
It's the next day. Let's talk about the pros of the Pixel 6. And overall, I think my impressions remain largely positive on this phone. The phone's performance is fairly solid. It's not amazing, but it's solid enough, and that is largely held up by the phone's camera, which is, I don't want to say amazing, but it is really phenomenal if you know what to do with it. Generally, when I test phones, I do a lot of photography testing just because I love taking photos, but as Instagram becomes more like TikTok and just video takes over the world, I thought I should start testing that out a lot more, and I started here with the Pixel 6. And it didn't disappoint. Generally, when I'm shooting video, I'm shooting landscapes for my friends, so I don't really need a telephoto. That ultra wide and wide actually comes in way more handy when I'm doing video. Like, I've been taking a lot of videos on my bike, and I would never use a telephoto there, but I've used the ultra wide, something I don't use for photography, a ton. Oh, the last thing I'll mention about the Pixel 6's video is that it had a ton of cool stabilization modes. There's a cinematic pan feature that's pretty awesome, and there's actually a locked off thing where you can shoot in 5x digital zoom, and it will look really, really stable. Obviously, the footage isn't going to look super crispy in 4K because it's 5x digital zoom, but it's going to be way more stable than you'd think. On the photo front, the main 50 megapixel camera sensor on the Pixel 6 is unreal. Seriously, it blew me away every time I was using it. Well, kind of. If I was taking photos in RAW, it blew me away. Those full 50 megapixel RAW images are incredibly detailed, but not over sharpened and not oversaturated, and you can do a lot with them. And even before the edits, they don't look great, and they actually look pretty desaturated, but damn, is the quality so much nicer than the over-processed photos that the Pixel's making on its own. There's no denying you can actually get nice photos out of the Pixel even when it's just on its own and over-processing the photos without the RAWs, but it reminds me more of using a Samsung phone a few years ago. It's just very saturated, very punchy, and almost looks like the photo's already been edited in a way that I wouldn't necessarily edit my photos. But yeah, I don't know, it's a weird camera system. It's been really fun to get to use, but as a point and shoot, it's one of the worst Pixels that I've seen. I mean, I don't know, it's hard to say because from the MKBHD tests we know that like people love punchy, vibrant photos, and the Pixel is giving them to us, but it just feels like the Pixel is taking the photos out of my hands and not really asking me how would I want them to be. So hopefully next year we'll get some sort of like photo filter mode or whatever Apple's calling their photo filters that maybe let people choose if they want to have such an over-processed photo or something a little less processed. The thing I want to bring up that's a pro of the phone is just how good it looks, both inside and out. I'm talking software and hardware. It's stunning. I'm actually a little upset that the Google Pixel 7 and the 6a are going to depart so much from this design. I mean, there's still a camera bar, but it's not a uniform black bar anymore. Now it's kind of like a silver bar with black cutouts for camera lenses. It looks like R2-D2's face in a weird way, which you would think someone like me, a nerd, would usually love, but I loved this, and I'm sad that it's going away. The black edges just fade seamlessly into the screen, and the fact that it's got this squared off design that kind of reminds me more of a Samsung Galaxy Note, or I guess I should say an S22 Ultra nowadays, it's really exciting, and it makes the phone feel more premium than it actually is just by the nature of having that like premium inspired design. On the inside and the software side of things, Material You is like my favorite thing Google has done in years. It looks stunning, and I love the fact that I can change my wallpaper and my entire phone will adapt to fit that aesthetic. So a red #MobileSyrup wallpaper will give me red app icons, red notifications, a red text messaging app, some red highlights in Google Drive, and just other elements of the OS. It all feels very uniform and very cohesive. I think it's actually a really sly first step for Google into building the Pixel ecosystem. When people can customize things, it sort of makes them more attracted to them because they've made it their own. If Google can apply this customization across the entire Pixel ecosystem, if that color scheme and your Google account can be so cohesive across this entire thing, I think that's something that consumers are actually going to enjoy a lot. It might not add a lot to everybody's lives, so we might not talk about it as much as we should, but it's just one of those aesthetic changes that's just nice to have. And if Google can pull it off, it'd be really exciting to see how the other companies retaliate. And now we have to talk about the cons of the Pixel 6, and I don't even want to get into this because I like the phone so much, but there's a lot of things that let me down this time around, starting with the battery life. Sure, it's passable, you can make it through a day with it, but would you make it through a day and a half? Could you go from 7 in the morning till 1 a.m. at night? No, probably not. I had struggled to go from 12 in the afternoon to 12 at night, which is more than enough if we're registering phones on battery life from like 3 or 4 years ago. But for a 2022 flagship with Google's first chipset, I'd expect way more. Sure, the Tensor can do great things like, oh, hey, Google, do this and do that and anyway, as I was saying, the Tensor chip, sure, enhanced security, a little more photo things, like you can do Magic Eraser and you can do some Hey Google stuff, but like, would you rather an extra 5 hours of battery life instead of those features? I would. Another big issue with the Pixel 6, and I don't necessarily know if this is Tensor related or not, but the software has been incredibly buggy. I'm used to reviewing OnePlus phones, so a few bugs are nothing new to me, but to be honest, seeing it on a Pixel phone to this level where I'm restarting my phone multiple times a day, you know, maybe not every day, but way more than I'd want to, is not great. Not great at all. All right, what else do we got? This one definitely is related to the Tensor chip, and that is the Tensor chip just isn't that fast. I don't know if the extra RAM on the Pixel 6 Pro would make that much of a difference, but trying to edit all these pixel raw images has been a bit of a slog. On my iPhone, editing raw images is just like this. And on the Pixel 6, it's like edit, wait for the adjustment, edit, wait to see the adjustment, edit, wait to see the adjustment, and it's fast enough. I'm not really complaining about it. I mean, I was able to edit all my photos fine, but for a flagship phone in 2022, I think they should be just running laps around editing basic RAW files. It shouldn't be this intense. And unfortunately, the Pixel 6, well, it can totally do it, isn't the most powerful phone around. Overall, the Pixel 6 is a pretty good phone. Maybe my favorite upper mid-range phone of the year. I don't know. It's got a good design. It's got a really great camera. The battery life and things could be better, but I've been living with it for a few weeks and I've survived and I've even enjoyed it. So that's all I have to say about the Pixel 6. If you want to see me talk about the Galaxy S22 Ultra, click over here. If you want to see me talk about the OnePlus 10 Pro, click over here. Make sure to like and subscribe to help us grow the channel, and I will see you guys next week for some WWDC Apple coverage. Peace.